How does a cyst resolve itself? The body is capable of dissolving the thin cystic capsule and then reabsorbing the fluids inside. Peritubal cysts are quite common and are usually just filled with clear fluids, much like when you pop a blister. If you have ever left a blister alone, the body will reabsorb that as well. Their sizes I normally see range from 3mm, 20mm. However, a peritubal cyst/ovarian cyst rupture can be a very dangerous thing. Can cause a hemorrhage with incredible amounts of blood loss. Make sure you know what kind of cysts you're dealing with. Source: Pathology Boy. Just out of curiosity, what would those fluids conceivably be comprised of? Is it a mix of water and plasma and blood? Yep. Serum or plasma admixed with a number of other things. Blood, pus, mucus. Depends on the type and size of cyst. Last year I dealt with a cyst that was 6 centimeters and filled with liquid and stuff. Was quite painful. Went with contraceptives to reduce the mass for a couple of months. Got to a 2 centimeter range. Period came and it burst. A month later I had another 3 centimeters follicular cyst. Doc said it was normal and it was going to burst when my period came. It did. Next time he checked, ovaries were clear. According to Johns Hopkins, most cysts are just a bit of extra fluid around an egg. They simply pop or rupture, usually around the time of menstruation anyway. Check it. Link: Hopkins Medicine. org/health/treatment tests and therapies/management of ruptured ovarian cyst. Personally, I've had a very painful one. It was a stabbing pain that wasn't resolved by changing position or anything. Simply went away after my next period. If you're in a lot of pain, call your doctor. Note: this is only for ovarian cysts. There are many types such as ganglion and a Baker's cyst. They have different etiologies, but the body can reabsorb them, and they can rupture, leak, and shrink. Yeah, I have a cyst on my back, and reading that response, for a second I was like, how the heck did an egg get on my back? Is it a subcutaneous cyst? I have had 5 removed so far, and they must be hereditary or at least your genome predisposes you to them. 4 on my head, 1 on my back. The cyst on my back was there for over 15 years and it just slowly grew in size until it was becoming uncomfortable. Removal was an easy operation, but these types must not reabsorb as every one I've had just slowly get larger. I had one, and it resolved itself by rupturing and breaking a blood vessel and causing about 11 hours of very painful internal bleeding and a $14K hospital bill because they thought I had appendicitis and did a ton of tests and scans that turned out to be unnecessary. But I was unlucky. Most of them either just shrink and disappear or rupture without breaking a blood vessel. Removed. I had a torquid ovary. Same story. I went to emergency and waited through many tests and many hours to figure it out. I refused medication because I'm pig-headed about those things. I was lucky. I was told to get emergency surgery, but everything settled into place. I went into surgery and had it drained 3 weeks later. 1 year later it is now the size it was again. I asked my drive if it happened again and chose to skip the long wait and unnecessary hospital stay, what would happen? He described your situation to a T. I half thought, that may very well be my situation during a pandemic/zombie apocalypse. Guess I'll be losing an ovary. Good thing us ladies are back up. Removed. My cos wasn't taken seriously until one ruptured, while big enough to put me in the hospital. What about cysts that last 4 years without ever going away? I have a sac/growth on my vaginal wall that sometimes painfully swells up 3x its normal size with fluid, and then it'll rupture or drain over the course of a few days, but the nodule never completely goes away. It's been 3 years lol. I had an ovarian cyst that ruptured. I honest to goodness thought I was dying because of the pain. It was as bad as childbirth, though it didn't last nearly as long. They can be dangerous if the cyst gets too large because it can cause the ovary to twist/collapse from the weight. You can have them drained/removed/shot at with a laser too, I think. I had one burst in the middle of the night. It was super painful. I went to the where they speculated it was my appendix. I was hospitalized for the night for observation. The next day they did a sonogram and found the burst cyst. I had just given birth by C-section a couple of months earlier. Removed. There are definitely cancers that present as cysts because they have serous or mucinous secretions. Please don't spread false information. Source: surgeon. Agreed. Cyst is a description like solid mass. It says nothing if it's benign, aggressive, or somewhere in between. That said, if you add up all the times someone hears the word cyst in a doctor's office, the vast majority are going to benign. Renal cysts, ovarian follicular cysts, sebaceous cysts, etc. There's also something called debris in certain cysts, which may be blood or solid area within the cyst. The simplest definition of a cyst is a membranous sac or cavity of abnormal character containing fluid. There are many different cysts that develop in humans and animals. The ovarian cyst is a normal and commonly occurring process of the menstrual cycle. The ovarian cyst is driven by / regulated by hormones and usually, but not always, contains the human oocyte / ova. Women, as they age, don't always release oocytes, which are commonly called an egg. Ovarian cysts always rupture, which releases the oocyte into the fallopian tube, where it sometimes gets fertilized and travels down to the uterus, where it implants itself and begins to form a placenta and grow into a fetus / baby. Sometimes the fertilized oocyte becomes implanted in the fallopian tube, and that situation is called an ectopic pregnancy and must be removed by surgery or using chemotherapy to kill the zygote, fertilized egg, or else the ectopic pregnancy will rupture and almost always kill the woman. Ovarian cysts can grow very large and become very painful and even dangerous, because the larger they grow, the more blood and fluid supply there is, and a woman could hemorrhage to death if a really large ovarian cyst ruptures. All new, different, severe abdominal pain should be reported to a physician to help diagnose the cause. It could be something that can be watched and may subside in its own, but it could something that needs immediate intervention also. Many other cysts can arise from an infectious source, so it's best that if it's new, has changed, is large, and most important painful, and if there's any fever or drainage, then you should also see a physician as soon as possible. There's a certain point where a cyst, an endometrioma, becomes too big to resolve on its own, which I was told is about 2 centimeters. I had ovarian cysts. One was 2 centimeters and resolved on its own. As far as I know, the other was 4 centimeters. An MRI confirmed it was an endometrioma caused by endometriosis. I was told that it was too big to resolve itself and had to be surgically removed. It grew to 6 centimeters by the time I had surgery. I don't know the answer, but I'm very curious to know if you get an answer. I've had an endometrioma for about 8 years that ranges in size from 2 to 4 centimeters, but doesn't ever go away. They won't operate either, because I've only the one ovary left and it doesn't seem to be causing any further problems. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.